beating Wu Kun Lin 7-0 in a singles.
Yeah, and this image that you see now, don't be fooled by thinking, oh, well, all the seats are empty behind, because even though this arena is phenomenal, Phil, at the early stages of the World Championships and these multi-table events, actually sitting in the arena there is probably the worst place you could be, because you better be down on the floor, then you can just walk from table to table. It's a bit like going to a golf tournament where you just walk around the holes. You're far better on the floor, so there's a lot more people and fans who have bought tickets to be on the floor, so don't be thinking you've got to sit in the arena. That's not the case at all. You can literally get to any table you want, can't you, Phil?
And also, if you get positioned in a certain way, you can see multiple tables at the same time.
So Raga gets this match underway. Battle of the two young guns from the Philippines, where pool is the second biggest sport in their country. Boxing is at number 1. The legend Anton Raga is regarded as the greatest of all time.
While you were away, by the way, we've had a few results come in. Victor Zielinski 9-5 over Hossein Maroom, who led 4-3 in that one. Billy Thorpe comfortable over Ahmed Al-Jabbar at 9-2. Robbie Capito, he beat Carl Naderberg 9-3. Shane Walford also a 9-3 winner over Alvin Angito. And at the end of this rack, I'll get you right up to date with the scores of matches that are still in progress. So close to that bank. The two just catching the point of the middle. Raga's perpetual motion, isn't he? He's always full of beans around the table. Didn't really get hold of that cue ball though, did he?
Yeah, maybe he needs a few more beans at breakfast, Phil. Not quite got the power there. I think it's always good to talk about the history of pool. You know, it goes without saying, there's always challenge matches and gambling matches around the world. It's all done very correctly as well. You know, everybody knows everybody, so you have these challenge matches. And remember a couple of years ago when World 9 Ball Tour really started to form, they spoke about Raga and they were telling me he was going all over the Philippines, playing anybody in the whole country. I mean, he's a brave man.
Yeah, that's perhaps the toughest school of the lot.
Yeah, and if you remember 2007, which was the last World Championships Matchroom did before, was it 2021, was it? Is that when it was, Phil? So obviously they had that long gap. It was in the Philippines in 2007, and I went over and played in that event and spent a little bit of time, played in another tournament which was actually hosted by Manny Pacquiao. I went in the pool halls, and let me tell you, even the guy who was sweeping the floor, when he picked the cue up off the rack, he could play the game. I'm not even joking. It was wild over there.
Well, let's put it this way. We've got the inaugural Reyes Cup in the Philippines in October. Now, this will not be the case, but if 5 Filipinos took on Europe, they could win.
Yes, there's no doubt about it. they could win. But you could say the same for Chinese Taipei, China. You know, they've got unbelievable talent in Asia, and that's why Nine Ball's been desperate for a tournament where Asia plays Europe or America. You know, we've been crying out for it for such a long time.
And so the near bank from Bernie Regalario, they just caught the point of the middle pocket, proved decisive in that rack. Even though Anton Raga's positional shot from 2 to 3 wasn't the best, he did find a solution, and consequently he draws first blood. Raga 1, Regalario 0. So what about these other scores? Francesco Candela 5-2 now on Patrick Gonzalez. Chang Junlin just starting out against Othman Al-Zahrani. Shane Van Boning did come through against Farhad Al-Arbi on the main table. 9-1 was the score there. James Arenas not having things easy now against Farhad Al-Dayan. Looking for a winner's qualification match against Piers Labutis. Arenas, his lead has been eroded to 6-4. It's also 6-4 for Moritz Neuhausen over Emil Andre Gangflo. 5-4 for Jan van Lierop over Tobias Bongers. 7-4 for Chang Yulong over Khalid Al-Artabi. And Albin Aushin finds himself facing a deficit again. This time it's 6-5 against Fu Chi Wei. Other matches that are out there that are in the very early stages. If you want to see Chang Junlin, by the way, against Othman Al-Zahrani, that's available on the Matchroom Multisport YouTube channel. It is on table 2 right now, and Chang is a massive favourite.
Yeah, one of my favourite players to watch, Chang Junlin. So this is Bernie Regalario, who's going to be kicking at this 2-ball. And it was a good kick, Phil. He hit it full, and the reason why he needed to hit it full, because the cue ball will then roll up the top end of the table. Yeah, he's not sure where the blue 2 is going to finish. That bit is out of his hands. He's just got to play the percentage game. Myself and Phil are sat up on a bit of a stage looking down on the arena, and there's 4 practice tables just to our left, and some of the juniors are warming up. Phil, we've obviously got the Saudi Junior Championships taking place as well.
Yeah, great for them to be involved in the same arena as the big boys, and they gain an awful amount of experience. It's not just here, of course. We have the Jason Shaw Junior event at the UK Open, the Shane Van Boning equivalent at the US Open as well.
Yeah, and the final of the Saudi Junior Championships will be played on the Matchroom Pool YouTube channel on the 7th of June. What a moment that will be to get to taste one of the arenas here as well, Phil. Me and Jeremy Jones spent a bit of time with some of the juniors. We went to one of the local pool rooms, the Diamond Billiard, with the juniors, and we've been in the practice room a couple of nights ago. There's some decent young talent over here, let me tell you. Jeremy and I were very impressed.
Anton Raga looks younger than he's 26 years, doesn't he? Looks as though he's just out of school.
Yeah, Filipinos, they age well, don't they? You know, you look at Alex Pagulayan. He looks well for his age, doesn't he?
Always smiling, always laughing.
I mean, you look well for 84, Phil, it has to be said.
Yeah, not quite that old, Carl. Not quite that old. Getting there, by the way. Getting there. But
going airborne, got the jump cue in hand. You expect the players at this level to pop these, believe it or not. Got to get the cue ball moving though, he's got to get it round the table, because look at the red 3, but I suppose just make sure you try and pop the blue 2 to stay at the table. Missed it by a long way. Fedor Gorst is regarded as the best player on tour with the short stick. And it's a shot in the modern day era of 9-ball that has become a lot more important. Back in the olden days, you would see the players kicking at the ball more.
yeah, Gorst has just won a smaller World 9-ball Tour ranking event over in Virginia. The Rally at Shenandoah Valley, it was called, the tournament. $7,000 and 7,000 ranking points for his success. He's number 2 in the rankings behind Francisco Sanchez Ruiz, but of course those rankings will receive, without any doubt, a radical shake-up at the end of this championship. Talking of the rankings, Raga 38th on the World 9-ball Tour. Bernie Regalario 83rd, but both have got clearly immense potential to improve on that. And Raga here has got immense potential to improve on 1-0.
Yeah, and he's going to play some sort of cannon here, isn't he? He might try and go into that purple 5-ball. Yeah, went into them both. That's okay. You can play this in the corner. Nicely done there with the cue ball. It's like a nightclub in here at the minute, Phil. DJ's he's blasting some right tunes out.
Well, when you're commentating on the main table, the DJ is right behind you, and sometimes the reverberations can be felt, let's put it that way.
Again, the deeper the event goes, the music kind of dwindles away, doesn't it? It's for this multi-table setup where you can just mooch around the arena, listen to a bit of music.
Yeah, when I first found out that these major events would have a musical backdrop, as it were, I wondered whether it would affect the concentration of the players, but not in the slightest.
That's because you're from the boring world of snooker, Phil.
Guilty on all charges. Now, I really did think, will it affect concentration? Even, will it affect my own? And in fact, it's quite soothing, I think.
Phil, you could sit front row with the largest bag of chips in the world and it won't put these pool players off, let me tell you.
Yeah, and you talk about snooker. If someone rattles a sweet paper there, the referee tells them to desist. Well, that was the sort of catchphrase of Len Ganley, who was one of the most famous referees. Please stop rattling those sweetie papers, he used to say.
Well, we did edge on the side of Raga in this match if we had to pick a player. So far so good, still early days.
Yeah, looks good. He really does.
Have we spoke about the TV table, Phil, at all? The two players that have started out over there. What a match that is. It's Canadian's John Morra, who's got a famous father who is linked to the world of snooker. I'm sure you'll tell us something about that in a moment, Phil. But he's playing the young Filipino who won the Hanoi Junior Open. Albert Manos, AJ Manos he's called.
Yeah, well, great things are being said about the youngster from the Philippines, and it'll be interesting to see how he copes, A, with a top-class opponent, and B, with being centre stage. I gather from the way he played in Hanoi, he'll be perfectly fine. Yeah, the great story about John Morra, of course, is that in the middle of his career, he switched hands.
Yeah, that's wild, that, isn't it? To think he played right-handed all his life, and then just 3 or 4 years ago, I think it was a shoulder or a neck, he was having troubles getting down on the cue, but when he realised if he played left-handed it didn't hurt, he just went full-time and did it. I mean, that doesn't get enough plaudits for my liking, Phil. What a story that is.
Yes, his father was a very, very tidy snooker player, Mario Morra. He was quite slow and...
runs in the family then.
Well, he earned the nickname Mario Tomorrow because he used to finish after midnight.
Wow, love it.
There was also a famous incident at the World Championship qualifiers years ago where he was queuing up so vigorously and for such a lengthy time on this particular shot that he gave himself a friction burn. But he was a really good player. I remember he actually played a man who's known for his commentary, the great BBC snooker commentator Clive Everton. And he very nearly made a 147 in that match. I think he missed the green on 1-2-2, but he could certainly play the game.
I knew you'd have some stories about Mario Morra, Phil. I just knew it.
Yeah, I think his nickname was absolutely brilliant. It was nothing to do with me. It was put in him by someone else, but yeah, it just fitted perfectly. Mario Tomorrow, because he finished after midnight so often.
Yeah, that is genius.
Yeah, it is really genius, yeah. Well, of course, Eddie Charlton from Australia, he was given an award by the Australian government. He was Eddie Charlton AM, and that was very appropriate as well because he often finished after midnight also.
The balls sit good here. If you look at where the purple 5 is, it's over that right hand middle pocket. That means it's going to be easy getting on this green 6, because it is a tiny bit awkward, the green 6. I'm not saying it's difficult, but it goes in the left corner. Could play for the combo, but I wouldn't be surprised if he did that.
This is just Raga efficiency.
There's another Filipino who had the headlines on day one for me, Phil. That Johan Chua match. What a game that turned out to be in the end.
Incredible. Oh, look at that. That little positional kiss to promote the green 6, tapping the table in delight was Raga when it came off.
Yeah, you can see how straight he's landed. He might just take a long 7 here. they play their own way though. Yeah, they're not scared to pinch a bit and load it up with spin. Why not? He's landed perfect on the 7. Regalario, well, you can see him sat in the chair. He's got work to do in this match, you feel.
And you're looking here, for me, at a proper contender for the title. That's how good Raga can be.
I fully agree, Phil. He's definitely a contender. He's got heart, he's got bottle, he's got the game. He's got that quirkiness to play funny old shots that you need on a pool table as well. He's a great shot maker. Of course, he's going to be a good kicker. And he's 3-0 up here in this battle of the countrymen.
Yeah, looking really good for me. You know who he, to a degree, reminds me of? A former runner-up in this World 9-Ball Championship from way back. Ismael Paez, the Mexican jumping bean. It was one of those players who had a totally unconventional cue action. He moved excessively on shots, and yet he was a fine player. He was actually runner-up in the year 2000 in Cardiff in Wales to Fong Pang Chow of Chinese Taipei, heavily beaten in that final, 17-6. The Mexican jumping bean.
Another fantastic nickname. We've had some great nicknames, haven't we? I'm going to ask you a little trivia question, actually, Phil. I think you will get this, but it's just popped into my mind. Who was the player that was nicknamed the Dancing Bear?
Alain Martel.
Yes, Alain Martel, Canadian, right? The big guy. Used to wear one of them, like one of them cardigans your granddad used to wear. What a character he was back in the day. I used to love watching him. I wasn't involved with 9-ball then, though. I was just a young lad who was playing some English 8-ball in the bars and the pubs in Manchester, and I used to watch the World Championships every year.
Well, he played for Canada in the World Cup of Pool with Edwin Montal.
Wow, I'd have never got that one. You should have asked me that.
Who was from the Philippines, and I think they got to the semi-final on you.
Well, I remember being in a pub in Manchester. We had a league night match, and the World Championships was on. And it was the year Chris Mellin had played. Actually, I didn't know Chris at the time. It was before I sort of got into it professionally, and it was the year Mellin beat Davis, and he ended up playing Alain Martel, and I can't remember if he beat Martel or Martel beat Chris. I can't remember, but around that era I used to think, what a character this Martel fella is.
Yeah, big guy, wasn't he?
Yeah, I don't know if he's still about. Phil, have you heard much about him? Or
no.
So many players worldwide, but not just players, Phil. Look at the young players that play. Not just in certain countries. I mean, worldwide. Me and JJ, like I said, we was doing a bit of work with the juniors, and two of the juniors, there's a little lad just in front of us, Phil. He's actually sat on the table. You want to watch this boy pop the balls. He's about 12 years old, and then there's another one, and his nickname in Saudi is Baby Filler. He plays like Joshua Filler. And the characters as well, you know, the likeable characters. I must say, we've been treated really well, haven't we, in the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia so far. What a place. I was surprised, actually. I've had an unbelievable time. I've been ancient old town Jeddah. I've been out and about.
Well, this is my second time here because I was at the Riyadh Season World Masters of Snooker, which Ronnie O'Sullivan won, and that was an extraordinary week, one I'll never forget. The atmosphere for the final, top notch, and I'm sure it will be replicated here. What we're watching from Anton Raga is something of a masterclass.
It's been clinical, and this is what he does. He's got this little scrunched up type of cue action. He cues very close to the cue ball, rather, and he's won the opening 4. Regalario, well, he's just a spectator at the moment.
So that's a phrase you'll never see in a textbook. Scrunched up cue action, but I know exactly what you mean, Carl. It hits the spot. Abdullah Al Yusuf leads Petri Mäkinen 2-1. Tim de Ruyter has taken the first rack against Mario He from Austria. Albin Auschen is now in front. What a marathon though over on table 9. He's 7-6 up on Fu Chi Wei. Chang Yulong beat Khalid Al-Atabi 9-4. Tobias Bongers 6-5 down to Jan van Leerup. Moritz Neuhausen, real prospect from Germany. Nice lad as well. He's 7-5 up on Emil Andre Gangflow. James Aranas. It's now 6-5 for Aranas over Farhad Aldayan. Albert Manus on the main table has taken the first rack from John Morra. Chang Junlin 2-0 up on Othman Al-Zarani. That's on table 2. You can see that on the Matchroom Multisport YouTube channel. Francesco Candela 6-4 on Patrick Gonzalez.
Not the best of break-offs here, that's why the one ball is still on the table. It was a little bit thin, but been fortunate where you can get cue ball through this gap. Plays the game at a good pace as well, a bit like Labutis in the opening match. They fall into that bracket of players where they just get on with it, don't they?
Yeah, there's something very intriguing about the subculture of money matches that you were talking about before, Carl. What would be the lengthiest match Anton Raga would have played?
Well, he'll have definitely played race to 50 without stopping. Not over a couple of days, without a doubt. This is where the Filipinos are clever. I think it might have gone wrong, but you could see what he was trying to do there.
Yeah, just a little too much zest in the cue ball. So Regalario now, with this chance, needs to make his presence felt.
And over on our feature table, the main table, we spoke about John Morra against AJ Manus. Well, it's Manus who's doing well over on that table, Phil. I think he's won the opening 2.
The commentary over on that match is being provided by Jeremy Jones and a really good friend of mine, David Hendon, who is renowned as one of the finest snooker commentators in the game, and he's dipping his broadcasting toe into pool for the first time, and I'm sure he will really enjoy this experience.
Branching out, as they say. Regalio's got to get something going here. Still capable, but he's lost the cue ball there, so now it's going to be awkward to get on the green 6. Yeah, Albert Manus did win the opening 2, so he leads 2-0 over John Morra. Only a young guy. Like I said, he won the Hanoi Junior Open last year. That's the event that Jason Shaw won. He won the junior version. Is he playing the bank? Well, he was definitely eyeing the bank shot up. He wants to attack here. He doesn't want to play safe and let Raga back to the table, but he's awkward. He could cut the ball in, but just not really going anywhere on that 6 ball, is he?
the last match of the session on this table on the Matchroom Pool YouTube channel has been announced. I'll let you know what it is at the end of this rack. And a vital rack it is for Regalario. Just can't pull the trigger.
Oh, he was close, wasn't he? You could see why he wanted to go for it. He knew the cue ball was coming down the bottom end of the table. These events, Phil, they just have a knack of building up, don't they? Always seems to just start off a little, I don't want to say slow, but you know, the drama, the close matches. You seem to see more one-sided matches, don't you, over the early stages?
Yes, of course, in the World Championship it's a little different from the 256 player fields we have for the likes of the UK Open, the European Open, the US Open, Hanoi as well. You can have blockbuster contests from the very first round, and this is a case in point.
Another situation here where it's just difficult to get on that 6. Could thump it round the table, but boy, he's got to hit it hard. He has to hit this very hard. You can see how much spin he was putting on the ball. Needs a good clip off the 7. It's not great. The safety is so easy though. He can chop the green 6 towards the 8, run the cue ball up the top end of the table. Couple of things might happen here. Raga might pop the ball, but he might kick and stick the ball behind the 8. That's the cue ball. Gonna leave a pot. These shots are a lot more difficult at 4 down though.
Rifled in. Now Bernie Regalario should be getting off the mark. Well, I say he should be. That was a woeful positional shot.
Yeah, it's awkward. Now he's going to have to play this in the middle. Cue ball off 3 rails for the 9 in the same middle. Always feel more difficult these when you've not intentionally played for position in this pocket as well. Can't afford to hit that near jaw. Yep, you just can't afford to hit the near jaw, Phil. He just clipped the near jaw, didn't he? We might get a look on a replay.
It was a really good call, Carl, and you know, catching the near jaw of the middle pocket was the start of his problems in this match. If you remember the bank in rack 1, he just clipped that near jaw, stayed on the table. Raga ran out nicely, and ever since he's been in command, and that's where he remains. The 9 ball for 5-0.
Yeah, and of course 128 players start out, so Regalario still in this match. I'm not saying he's lost yet, but if he does go on to lose, you've just got to win 2 in the losers bracket to qualify for the 64, and that's what it's all about, Phil. Make sure your name is in the draw for the final 64 single elim, and then anything can happen. We've had many a world champions become world champion with 1 loss next to their name.
In winners qualification, the winner of this match will play the winner of Alexa Pachelch or the youngster from Iowa in the USA, Sam Henderson. The loser of this match will play the loser of Pachelch Henderson. Now I can tell you and confirm what's coming up next on this table. It will be on the Matchroom Pool YouTube channel, of course. Commentary provided by Michael McMullen. It is Duong Quoc Wang of Vietnam against To Lian Han of Singapore. To Lian Han, in his 50s now, very much a veteran, but he guided Singapore to the World Cup final, didn't he, a couple of years ago, alongside his protege, Aloysius Yap. Yeah, Michael McMullen will be commentating on that match with Scott Frost. And I think we can confidently say, Carl, that he's the only Frost in Saudi Arabia.
The break has been a little bit iffy as well, hasn't it? Some good, some bad.
Yeah, let's put it this way, even though Raga is looking good, his break-off has been nowhere near as efficient as Piers Labutis in our previous contest. But things are just not happening for young Bernie Regalario. Some really big scores to tell you about, and I will give you those at the end of this rack. He seems composed though, even though he's in trouble.
Yeah, he's just going to try and make something happen. Not every match is going to go your way. In this instance, Raga's had it all. He's the one who's relaxed at the table, but sometimes you've got to just try and grind out a match, grind out a win. It can do you wonders in a tournament of this magnitude as well, so that's the position Bernie Regalario is in, and he's got ball in hand, and all the balls don't look too bad. 4 to the 5 seems to be the big shot.
You can see there, Raga was really surprised he failed to make contact there. He's such a wonderful kicker of the ball. I think Regalario was pleasantly surprised.
Yeah, just make sure you find that gap. Don't try and get too close to your work. It doesn't matter. Just make sure you leave a long, thin cut on the 5, because then you can play that shot with a little bit of the right-hand spin. And the cue ball will miss the 9 and come back up for that very green 6 ball that we see there. It's so crucial to make good decisions as well at this game. Some players excel more than others in the old shot selection department.
Who would you say is the finest player you've ever seen in terms of decision making? I mean, in snooker for me, it's got to be John Higgins. So I'll make that vote right now. But in pool, your choice?
Do you know, I don't think Shane Van Bonen's that far away. I always feel like he sees the table the right way. Maybe Albin Ocean as well. He's another one that springs to mind. They just have this ability to, certainly Albin, he has this ability to just hold back and read the table and think, not really feeling this, so I'll play safe.
Yeah, because the correct shot one day, depending on how you're feeling or conditions, might not be the correct shot the next day.
Yeah, and also understanding where your opponent's at as well. They always say, play the table, not your opponent, but it's probably one of the worst statements I've ever heard. You've got to play your opponent because you know the strengths and the weaknesses, and you've got to read the whole situation, the way the match has gone.
Bridging over the 8 ball, Regalario did really well there with running side to get on the 7, although with the cue ball welded to that side cushion, the 7 is not quite a gimme, especially given that he's got to put some degree of oomph into the cue ball. Yes, you'd be surprised if you missed it, but when you're cueing off a cushion like this, Carl, anything can be missed.
Yeah, and again, we talk about decisions, Phil. This is another one. The cue ball's too near the rail. He's got to roll this in and leave a long 8. If you start trying to thump it and spin the cue ball, you can miss the ball.
In Telford at the UK Open, that would have remained on the table. No ifs, buts or maybes.
Yeah, he missed the ball, but it's just that extra turn, that extra rotation on this brand new ball and cloth. It's, unless you play the game at a certain level, it's hard to understand how different it is when the cloth gets worn in. A couple of weeks playing a pool room, it plays so different. Well, Phil, no one is going to begrudge Regalario his first rack of the championship.
Whitewash averted? Maybe. The commencement of a comeback. Anton Raga's lead reduced to 5-1, so lots of unfinished business. Let me give you the scores. Real marathon over on table 4, bearing in mind they started at 1 o'clock local time. Francesco Candela and Patrick Gonzalez locked together at 6-6. On table 2 on the Matchroom Multisport YouTube channel, Chang Junlin now 4-1 up on Othman Al-Zarani. Albert Manas, the teenager from the Philippines, 3-1 over John Morra on the main TV table. James Aranas now pulling away against Farhad Al-Dayan. It's 8-5 to Aranas. Also on the hill, Moritz Neuhausen, 8-7 over Emil Andre Gangflo. Jan van Leerup, 8-5 up on Tobias Bongers. Albin Ocean and Fu Chi Wei, 8 racks each. Double hill, Shea Chia Chen, 3-1 up on Saar Aldress of the host nation. Michael Feliciano of the Philippines, 2-1 up on Michael Schneider. Petri Makinen of Finland, 3-2 on Abdullah Al-Yusuf. Makinen, of course, a deep run at the recent UK Open. Tim de Ruyter 2-1 over Mario He. That's your lot at the moment. We'll keep a very close eye on what transpires on table 9 between Albin Ocean and Fu Chi Wei.
have we got here then on this yellow 1 ball? Yeah, that looks like it goes past the 7 to me. Just shows you how close Raga cues to the cue ball. A little bit like Jason Shaw, he's another one who cues very close to the white ball, and that's turned out okay, hasn't he? He took a gamble there and doesn't have to play the pot. He's got the easy hook, but he could play the pot. Yeah, I don't blame him for that. Don't blame him at all.
Yeah, the percentages there were stacked in favour of the hook.
Well, I was just looking up at the big screen that we have in the middle of the arena here. There's 3 huge screens that are above where we start at the top of the show, Phil, and the camera was actually on Albion Ocean's match, and he missed a combo on the 9 to win that match. Hill. That was the match he was talking about. So Fu Che Wei is at the table. We'll keep you posted on who wins that match.
Yes, just to reiterate, as we've done on several occasions, but I think it's worth repeating again, this is a modified double elimination tournament, so even if Albion Ocean loses that match, his chances of a 3rd world title will not be over. But of course, if he were to win it, he'd be much more healthily positioned.
He's going to play the breakout here. Because he can put the cue ball where he wants, he should find that right angle, the angle that he needs. He'll probably play it into the red 3 first. Gone wrong. We may well see another hook here, Phil.
Well, we were talking about pool nicknames earlier, Carl. And of course one of them that is right up there would be Captain Hook.
Mike Siegel.
Yep.
I don't know if that was a test, Phil, but if it wasn't, I passed it anyway. Yeah, the legend from America, Mike Siegel. Liked to talk, did that man. Loved the sound of his own voice.
It takes one to know one.
No, he was on another level, Phil. I mean, there's levels to this game. Wow. Started to just get a little bit scrappy this match, hasn't it? Can Regalario get back in the match, or is Raga just gonna break away and win easy? Someone who's not gonna win easy is Albion Ocean and Fu Che Wei, because Fu Che Wei is at the table. They're playing at the opposite side of the room, and as always, Phil, as you know, whenever a match goes hill, people just walk over, don't they? They want to see that final rack. So I can't quite see the table, but I know Fu Che Wei is still at the table.
And we've just heard some applause, so maybe that's significant.
No, Fu Che Wei is still at the table, let me tell you. So the applause didn't come from that match, but I tell you what, Burnett is going to be in trouble here. Cue ball touching the 7, but the reason why Raga looks a little bit disappointed is because he was trying to take away this rail, the rail that the cue ball is close to. He hasn't done that, so Bernie will kick this ball now. Yeah, if the cue ball was on top of the brown 7, that kick shot was not on. And let me tell you, 2-time former world champion, the only player to play in 3 finals, has been beaten off Fu Che Wei.
And was it directly from the missed combination.
Yeah, and I can see Albin Ocean's gone straight to the table to set that combo back up. So I don't know how easy the combo was, but it was a combination to win round 1. He didn't get it. Foo-Che Wei has done a job. Albin Ocean has to win 2 from 2 now, Phil.
We've had some major casualties already. Niels Fine, David Al-Kadi, Albin Ocean. I tell you what, it spices up the loser's side. Well, he's been consistently in trouble in this rack. Now, though, is the boot on the other foot. Twelve matches started out at 1 o'clock local time today, and remarkably, some of those initial matches are still in progress.
This 3-ball doesn't want to disappear, does it? It'll be disappearing now, though. Ball in hand. 4 balls tied up, of course. He's looking at trying to draw into the green 6 here, but he could actually pop the red 3, come up near where the racking area is, and play the hook behind the green 6. But with ball in hand, clearly fancies trying to make something happen and make sure you don't touch a ball with your hand. That would be a foul. If one of these balls moves, it would be a foul. Could also chip the pink 4 near the 8 ball on the green 6. I don't really think he's seen the safety shot, Phil. I think he's trying to open something up and just make something happen in this visit, but he doesn't really need to. Just get the cue ball on the racking area, play safe.
Of course, this level of contemplation would not be possible on the main table because of the shot clock. Procrastination more than contemplation.
Yeah, and the scoreline is not helping Bernie because he's losing. Everything seems that little bit harder. Okay, you found a 3-ball combo.
Worth the wait. Worth the wait.
6 balls not opened up though. Things are just not happening. If the 6 ball comes away from the 8 a bit more, he can bot it. Now it's nasty. Is he going to try and dislodge the ball, the 8 or the green 6? Yeah, he is. Has he hit one? No, he's not. It's just not happening, is it? The balls are coming out awkward. He just can't get going, can he?
Yeah, it's not like he's missing a bunch of balls or making bad errors. It's just, as you say, one of those matches where opportunity hasn't really revealed itself yet.
Needs this to keep going. It hasn't. Raga can pop this ball.
An awful lot of movement on that shot, but also an awful lot of side to gain position. In goes the green 6. Cue ball manoeuvrability followed. The 7's on, and so is the rack.
Yeah, the pace looks very good here. Just knock the ball in, cue ball will float up. Normal service resumes.
(6-1) to Anton Raga, who has been superior in pretty much every department. 6-1 means he's 2/3 of the way to being in the winners' qualification round. And it's perhaps possible we could have 2 matches over on this table before one match is complete on table 4. Francesco Candela of Italy 7-6 up on Patrick Gonzalez in a match that started well over 2.5 hours ago. On table 2, that's on the Matchroom Multisport YouTube channel. Chang Junlin 4-2 over Othman Al-Zarani. 4-2 also the scoreline on the main TV table, where Albert Manas leads John Morra 4-2. I can tell you Jan van Leerup has completed a 9-7 win over Tobias Bongers. Also winning 9-7, Moritz Neuhausen against Emil Andre Gangflo. Shea Chia Chin 5-1 up on Saad Aldres. Michael Feliciano 4-2 over Michael Schneider. 4-2 also for Petri Makinen against Abdullah Al Yusuf. And that's a common scoreline because Mario He of Austria, he's 4-2 up on Tim de Ruyter. Mario He, we're talking about nicknames. It might not be the most complimentary, but Mario He, the Nearly Man, always seems to get well advanced in tournaments, but he's yet to snap one of these major titles off.
Yeah, both players have gone for a timeout, Phil. That's why there's a bit of a delay here.
Okay, then it enables me to indulge you, Carl. You have got the floor now. I'm going to ask you one question and away you go. Your greatest moment in the World 9-Ball Championship?
My greatest moment in the World 9-Ball Championship? Suppose getting to the semi-final in 2007 in Manila, because it was my first real big 9-ball event. I'd only just come into play in American pool. Obviously it was a matchroom event as well, multi-table, so it was, you know, it was a really nice arena. It was live on Sky Sports, so I would probably pick that. Yeah, I didn't win the event, but I was burgled not to win that event actually. No, I'm only joking, but yeah, it was fond memories. I was young and naive and daft. Not much has changed, Phil.
Well, you're not young now, but the other two definitely. It's
Cheers, buddy.
maybe not naive, but certainly daft. That remains. There's no doubt about that.
Cheers, pal.
But you were talking about how it's great to indulge in talk about pool history. That 2007 championship, which was won by Darrell Peach of the UK, that was played in the Araneta Coliseum in Manila, which was the site of the Thriller in Manila, the great historical boxing bout between Joe Frazier and Muhammad Ali.
Yeah, that's right. It was a brilliant arena, massive from what I remember, absolutely gigantic arena.
Well, this hasn't been a thriller yet because it's one-sided, but I think it's given us an awful lot of clues about how well Anton Raga's playing. Very tidily.
Do enjoy watching Raga, to be fair. He just does it his own way, doesn't he? Said before, he's like got this sort of scrunched up cue action and sees things a little bit different. Yeah, I think he's trying to get the cue ball in behind the purple 5. Butchered it, completely butchered it.
Which for him is unusual.
Sounds like the DJ's gone for some food, Phil. The music's gone off. This lacks base. He was trying something similar. Wonder if he can pot the 3 ball here. No, he can't, not looking at that angle.
Again, another weak safety from Raga. It's getting to the point now, Carl, where it's imperative that Regalario puts together a few racks, because 6-1 deficit, that could easily become a 9-1 defeat. He has to make the most of this. Oh, and on saying that, the 4 ball goes astray, and I think it goes past the green 6.
Well, didn't see that one coming. I presume it wasn't tight, just with the pace he played it. This match is turning out to be one of those that Bernie's just going to have to forget about it, get himself up for the loser's side of the draw.
Raga was looking a little anxiously to see whether he could get through to the purple 5, but clearly it's a wide open gap.
other thing to bear in mind is you don't know the history of these two players as well, do you? You don't know, are they close friends or have they played many matches against each other? Who's got the better of it? You would say Raga has, looking at the way both players have played in this one.
When you're 6-1 down, it doesn't pay to miss a 4-ball from short range. Regalario did just that. And now Anton Raga has established a 7-1 lead. 2 more needed for progress. On table 4, that marathon continues. Francesco Candela now on the hill against Patrick Gonzalez at 8-6. Chang Junlin 5-2 up on Othman Al-Zarani. Basically, rack 7 was quite a lengthy one. It revolved around her hook on the 8, which Al-Zarani missed. Left ball in hand, and of course when 8 and 9 are on the table, that's basically it against a player of Chang Junlin's authentic quality. Albert Manis, the teenager from the Philippines, 5-2 up against John Morra, coping with the responsibility of being centre stage. Joshua Phillips started his campaign 1-0 up on João Grillo of Portugal. 5-2 for Shea Chiachen over Saad Aldres. 5-2 for Michael Feliciano against Michael Schneider. 5-2 for Petri Makinen over Abdullah Al-Yusuf, and 5-2 also for Mario He over Tim de Ruyter. So 1 in the side, but the 2 has found congestion.
Yeah, using the 7-ball as a blocker. Doesn't want to push the boat out, take any risks, just try and get the job done. Get the match won. Get yourself into WQ round winners qualification. Well, the way Bernie's played in this match, I think he might go for this combination kick combo. 9 into the opposite middle. It's close, but it's no good.
And of course, those who win the first round matches today, they can give themselves the rest of the day off, because winners qualification is tomorrow.
Top pocket. Yep. Easy. Nice and easy. Interesting match just starting out on table 14, right in front of me and Phil. It's almost like we're sat front row and it's open air commentary at the World Championships. Well, most tournaments are now, and you almost feel like you don't want to speak too loud, do you, Phil? We're that close. It's Alexa Purcell's against the young American Sam Henderson.
Yes, and the link between that and this is that the winner of the 2 matches play each other. You would make Purcell's favourite, there's no doubt, but Sam Henderson has got an awful lot of potential.
Yeah, I would give Purcell's the edge in that match, but I would not be shocked if a Henderson victory was there. But I know what you mean. Didn't see this scoreline coming though. I expected bigger things from Bernie Regalario. I really did. I thought this may be one of the matches where it goes back and forth.
Yeah, we could be presiding here over back-to-back trouncings we saw initially today on this table on the Matchroom Pool YouTube channel. Pia Filler heavily defeated by Piers Labutis. And now it looks like being a similar story with Anton Raga, the beneficiary. You might say Regalario's had a nightmare. He's not had a good match, but without being flashy, just very efficient. Raga has looked like what he is, an authentic contender.
Yeah, he's just building up nicely, isn't it? It's Raga. We feel like he's going to be one of the players who could go on and snap this title off.
8-1. He's on the hill just like that. And Regalario must be feeling very despondent, demoralised. I suppose with winner breaks there is always the slight possibility of turning things around, but it would be a monumental comeback from 7 down with 8 to play. Let's see if that Francesco Candela marathon has come to a conclusion. Well, the answer is no. 8-7 still. Candela leads against Patrick Gonzalez. 6-2 now. Chang Junlin over Othman Alzarani. Albert Manis 6-2 on John Morra. What a performance that is as he makes his debut in front of the television cameras centre stage. And I can tell you Joshua Fillers lost the second rack against Zhao Griot. 1-1 there.
Push up. Push.
One thing I've liked about Raga in this match, he's maintained his intensity from first ball to now. Even though he's got almost an assailable lead, he's not taking any risk whatsoever. Not pushing out any boat.
Playing the correct shot, we spoke about this, it goes a long way. You don't want to start putting yourself under silly pressure. You know, 8-1 can soon turn into 8-5, 8-6, where you feel like you've not had many visits to the table. So just play the game, keep your opponent under pressure, get the job done, get the W, get yourself out of here, get yourself to the pool, chill out, a bit of food, get ready for your next match, because still such early days here. If you're tuning into this match on our YouTube channel, our main feature match is John Morra against Albert Manis, the young Filipino, really young in fact. He won the Hanoi Junior Open last year, so that shows how young he is. Well, he's leading John Morra 6-2 up, Phil.
As for this one, the end could be in sight, in near sight.
Yeah, just connect the dots. This is the shot now where if he doesn't win the match in this visit, you feel like it would go wrong. He's just got to draw the cue ball back a little bit further than where it is now. How does that look? Looks good.
Well, they call him the Dragon, don't they, Anton Raga, and he certainly breathed a certain amount of fire in this match. A 9-1 result over Bernie Regalario would be a result that resounds around this arena. I can tell you Chang Junlin just this second has spotted the 9 ball to take a 7-2 lead over Othman Al-Zarani.
Three balls away from winning very, very comfortably, believe me. Bernie Regalario, that name, we thought, I'm not saying we thought he was going to win the tournament, Phil, but we certainly thought it may be a little bit closer, this one, but in the end it's been a performance to forget about.
Yeah, this should instill quite a lot of confidence in the mind of Anton Raga. The good news is Scott Frost has just turned up for the last stream match on this table this afternoon. It will be Duong Kwok Wang against To Lian Han next.
Yeah, that'll be a treat for you pool fans, the freezer.
Yeah, the only Frost in Saudi Arabia is Scott, and the only rack that Bernie Regalario won was the 6th. Other than that, it was a consummate performance from Anton Raga. Our second consecutive 9-1 victory on this table. We started off today with Piers Labutis beating Pia Filler 9-1, and following suit, Anton Raga. Very impressively indeed, he overcomes Bernie Regalario by 9 racks to 1. So, coming up in a few moments' time, Duong Kwok Wang against To Lian Han.